Well, tonight we continue our special report on the old Prewitt Slave Cemetery. This cemetery could be the final resting place of some of my ancestors, but through the years, the cemetery has been unkept. Many graves are marked, but so many others are not. WVUA 23 took the lead, and now that cemetery has been cleaned up. Well, this morning I was there at the cemetery as experts with high-tech gear found many unmarked graves. This is the old Prewitt Slave Cemetery located on Old Byler Road in Northport. This plantation was once owned by former slave owner John Welch Prewitt, one of the largest slave owners in the South. Over 600 slaves, giving them all his last name, a common practice back then. This is what the cemetery looked like 5 months ago, unkept, and to many, forgotten. The historic site was so bad, tombstones were knocked off, and many graves could not be seen. But the cemetery is getting some much-needed attention. It has been cleaned up, the grass cut, and looking much better than when we first visited. Friday morning, Omega Mapping Services, a grave surveying company, used this ground-penetrating radar to identify unmarked graves.
There would be at least 200 unmarked in this acre and a half, at least that.
Some graves date back more than 160 years. Within the first 15 minutes at the cemetery, 30 unmarked graves were found. This ground-penetrating radar can see underground at images of those who were buried decades ago.
I'm able to look at it and get an idea if a casket's in the ground, or get an idea if it's a body that's been wrapped in shroud. The difference is a body that's in a casket is more dimensional. I can see the top of a casket where a casket was. The body has straight walls, and it's over against a body that's just kind of, I can see where the body was in there wrapped in something. The air pocket's broken up.
Now, Lynn Stolzer says it's all about the air pockets. These air pockets represent an unmarked grave. Now, he says there could be at least 200 unmarked graves right here in the old Prewitt Slave Cemetery. U.S. Representative Terry Sewell says it's a painful memory of slavery, but we can't forget about our history.
We're an important part of America's story, and I think that it's important that we preserve all aspects of the story.
Representative Sewell represents Alabama's 7th Congressional District, which includes several historic cities such as Birmingham, Montgomery, Selma, and Tuscaloosa. Sewell is one of the sponsors of the African American Burial Ground Network Act.
It's obviously a voluntary network, it would be, but also the bill would include grants to allow for cleanup, to allow for preservation, to allow for education, because what an amazing educational opportunity it is for our young people to both see a site that is so old, but also understand the magnitude and the impact that site has in America's history.
The bill is now in committee working out more details. Now, coming up on part 2 of our special report, I will learn if I'm a descendant of the former slave owner, John Welch Prewitt. Of course, I will be taking a DNA test with his great-great-great-granddaughter.